Social. Okay, this one is one that I've had to work on a lot in my own personal life, and that I continue to work on. So why is it important to have a healthy social life, and what does this include? So a benefit of a healthy social life would be that we're social creatures by nature, but it doesn't mean that we all feel the same level of comfort or desire to engage in these social settings. Um, Connection is something we all desire, and it can be achieved in many ways. So that's good for people who may not be as open to it, or are very open to it. Dating is a big part of the social life. It can be nerve wracking, but also very rewarding. Friendship, having someone who can trust and has your back is one of the probably the best things in life is just having a solid friend structure, someone you can rely on and who relies on you. It's a very great feeling. Family interactions are part of the social life, and these are people who you've had around and hopefully are a positive influence. Sometimes they aren't, and that's something you have to deal with on your own personal accord. But hopefully you have a great family interaction and you are civil and happy and interacting with them as much as you can. And also, I think that social life can be on video games and other social media forums. I don't think that's an issue. I think that you shouldn't only have those if possible, but that if you do, I don't think there's anything to be ashamed of. So some common barriers are time, work, school, um, other activities that you have, clubs that you join that take time away from you, maybe interacting and outside of a professional environment. And I guess obviously work and school could be social, but in terms of just relaxing and going out and hanging out with people, I think it's a different subject. I think anxiety is probably number one. Feeling awkward, feeling like you have nothing to say, feeling like others are judging you, in that sort of realm is what holds a lot of people back. I know that's what it was for me for a long time and still is for me. So it's something that I work on. But I think that's probably honestly number one. Balance, getting too much or too little interaction with family and friends, it's not going to, it's something that you have to work out yourself. I know that it can take a lot of energy to, be in a public situation for myself, and I'm sure for others with, some social anxiety, but, it's not, once you go out there and you do it, it makes it easier for you a lot of times. And so you have to kind of put yourself out there. Dating, this one could go into anxiety as well. I just kind of put it on its own little area just to make it more clear, but, feeling judged or getting a lot of nerves, very common, but can be a barrier. And then spending too much time behind the screen, it's easy to be online and to not really be interacting with people in your personal life face to face. And I would encourage you to strive to spend time with people face to face, and at least in some capacity daily. Because spending too much time behind the screen doesn't allow you to adapt to those situations. It doesn't allow you to push yourself to new boundaries. Everyone's different, so I can't say that it's the worst thing in the world to only spend time behind the screen, but you should strive to also do it face to face. Okay, so tracking progress and goals. Everyone feels social pressures. I think everyone just has different experiences with it and deal with it in a different way. So the people that you see that are most successful at it, they might have at one point in time had a very difficult time when they were younger, or they do still feel it, but they push themselves to be past it to help grow through it. So I don't think you can really look at others and be like, they can do it, why can't I? And get ashamed. It's kind of like it's your own journey. Again, like with everything here, don't worry so much about what others are doing. And that kind of leads into take things at your own pace and relax. Everything will be okay. I think just taking those small steps and, not really needing to be on someone's agenda is kind of the key here, everything will be fine. Just, go about it in the time that you think you should. I mean, don't say, okay, I'll do it in 10 years, but, take your time and find your own pace, and it'll work out. And, this is kind of for the dating scene, but if you're trying to find a date. Maybe start, if you like those dating apps, or if you're comfortable with going up to people at school or gym or whatever, maybe finding it one date a week, a month, a couple months, whatever you're comfortable with is a good way to start. But just keeping that flow going and, working on it is a good thing, I think. And then looking for common groups in your community, school, work, social media. If you have a hobby you like, and finding a group of people who also enjoy that, it can be nice to really, find another commonly minded person or people to share that interest with, and can grow friendships that extend outside of that. So I think that's a great way to really break into the social scene. It is honestly probably the hardest one for me, and probably for a lot of others who are growing in their journey, is to break from that social norm that they've been through their whole life. So, it can be very rewarding from the small wins that I've seen, but at the same time, it is hard. I mean, it's okay to think it's hard, but to really just at least push yourself and take that step forward that you need to take. It's all, as that last bullet point says, everything is in your ability. You just got to take that first step forward, and it'll take that next step after that, and the next step after that, and then you'll see some progress that you'll be like, oh, this used to be hard for me, but now it's not, and you can grow from there. So you can do it. Just take your time and work through it. Financial. Why are finances important? How can we prioritize them the right way? So some benefits of finances is, money isn't everything, but it is necessary. Everything costs money in our society. All the people say money is not important, or it's not everything is kind of, it's kind of true in some regards, but also it is important because we have to pay rent and for food. I think everyone kind of knows that. But it can be a major cause of stress, or limit stress for you, or remove stress in a lot of ways. So it is a benefit in that regard. It gives you the ability to have fun and buy things you like, which I think we all like to do, is buy the newest video game or buy the new cars. It gives you that ability to do so. It allows you to help your family and friends have a better life. If you have kids, or you have a family member you want to help out, or a brother or sister, having better finances puts you in a position to help them also have a better life. And it can be used to help others in a charitable act. If you have money that you've spent on yourself, your family, your friends, and you want to help others out, I think it's a great thing. And being more financially stable allows you to do that. Some common barriers, I think number one's overspending. You could have someone who makes $30,000 a year who lives very comfortably, and someone who has $100,000 a year job who is in debt because they just spend too much money for what they're making. Low skills, low motivation, and then another big one is unforeseen factors, layoffs, medical issues, family issues. Not something that can be planned for usually, but it's a reality for some people. All right, and then tracking progress and goals. This one, writing down a budget can be very useful, and kind of to see where you put your money. I know for me, when I have done this, it's kind of shocking to see how much money I do spend on like food and stuff, and it allows you to make that conscious decision of like, okay, can I cut money out here, or do I want to keep spending money here? I think that if you're, for example, in the nutrition category, you're trying to eat healthier, better food, and it's costing you more money, might not be the best thing to cut, because you're trying to get good quality food and this and that, and that's something that's important to you. Then I don't know if that's such a bad thing to spend more money on. But if you're spending more money on, you go to 10 movies a week, or you go buy the nicest sports tickets every week, and it's costing you way more money than you are taking in, then that can be an area to cut down on. I think, in my research of finances and all that, working to get yourself free of debt should be your highest priority. The interest rates are just going to continually pile money up higher and higher. So cutting down that debt is probably the highest priority that I could say. And then after the debt's paid off, then I think that you should look to save 3 to 6 months of living expenses. And to find your living expenses, I would just find, what you're paying in rent, food, gas, utilities, transportation, and everything that costs you to live. And then take that, multiply it by 3 to 6 months, and maybe a little bit of a buffer there, and save that up, and don't touch that money. That's for, unforeseen factors that we talked about on the previous slide. For low skill, for the low skills and low motivation, I could say getting an education is a big one. That doesn't necessarily mean college. It could be, you look something up on YouTube and you train yourself to be good at something, or you find a class that you like and teach yourself to be good at something. It doesn't have to necessarily be college, but that is obviously the classical route that many people go. Find out what you're passionate about and, kind of dig into that a little bit and try it out. And then also follow the habits of people who are in a financial position you want to be in. Just because someone's a millionaire and you make $10 an hour doesn't mean you can't also see how they spend their money. A lot of those people are very frugal with their money, and that's part of the reason that they are millionaires. So I think it's still following the habits of people who are in a position you want to be in. Emulating them can be helpful. Okay, and then let's see. Lastly, hobbies. Why are hobbies important? How can you find a hobby? Can be a great mood booster. Can be very fun and entertaining, stress relieving, gives you something to look forward to, allows you to be part of a community. I think hobbies are great and you can tie them into actually fitness and other categories also. Doesn't really there's no limit to hobbies, I guess. Most of the ones I listed below, like biking, basketball, reading, video games, bird watching, hiking, camping, knitting, church groups. There's really no end to that list. Whatever you think is important in your life can be said to be, stress relieving and fit into these categories. So I think there's a lot of great benefits to having a hobby. Barriers. Sometimes they're difficult to find. I mean, some people might not really have any idea what they want to do with their time, and they don't know if they have any strengths or weaknesses or desires. So it can be difficult to find a hobby. It can be expensive. You might need other people to participate to do that hobby. You may need to travel. It could be seasonally based or weather based. Okay, so tracking progress and goals. Almost every hobby has clubs or different forums and groups. Could be online, could be you meet somewhere every Tuesday night, talk with other people who participate in that hobby as well. So it could be really tie into a social event, and if that event's running, then it could also be a fitness. It really ties in here with other areas. I'd say to include your friends and family into your hobbies. Let them know that you're doing this. Let them know that they should join you. Kind of get it involved. Again, I think the hobbies mainly really tie in the social part of this presentation also, and that's why these all tie together. Is that the hobbies kind of tie them together. Make an effort to have one or more hobbies. There's no limit to how many you can have, but the more you have, the more potential you have to meet new people, to have more stress relief from different activities, and the ability to not be locked out by weather or other barring factors. I'd say make an effort to do your hobby at least weekly, if possible. It could be longer if there's like camping and stuff like that, but as often as you can, realistically. Could be more frequent or less frequent. Some things like running could be daily if you want to. The point of a hobby is to have fun, so relax and don't think too hard about it. All right, and then lastly, we have a summary. It's just a brief summary of this presentation. Is just a brief summary of a few areas that you can look to improve on. It's not the end-all be-all, and it's very basic info. It's not too in-depth. The goal is to get you thinking about what you can do to take the step in the right direction and give you maybe a couple ideas. So I hope that maybe all of you could take something away. Maybe you didn't. Maybe it's just a garbage video. But anyways, I hope someone out there took something. And it is easy to do and be negative on these topics, especially when you're starting. It's easy to think, I can't do this, I can't do that. Just tell yourself you can, because you really can. There's always progress to be made in every category, and everyone out there can make more, no matter where they're at in this self-improvement journey. And take things one step at a time. And anyone who needs help with motivation, please leave a comment below. I will respond to you. And if you see one below a comment that you maybe are more knowledgeable about, feel free to write to that person and keep it positive and tell them, some good advice and tips on what they can do to be better, because, we're all just trying to get better out here. So let's just keep it a positive comment section and a positive community. Thanks for watching. I appreciate this. Again, leave a comment if you'd like some more information on a video or a video idea I can have. If you feel like as though I provided some sort of value, please feel free to subscribe. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.